It hasn't passed yet.
Yeah, because this Kenya Roads Board money is what used to come to counties as RMLF, Road Maintenance Levy Fund. And I know that COG went to court over the exclusion of counties. We, as a Senate, we take the position that this idea of the national government doing roads in your villages through KERA, we must have a unanimous position. And when you come to the Senate for 4 hours, let us spend at least 30 minutes to talk about some of the clawback of devolution through things like this. RMLF, KERA, I don't want to get into the controversy of the latest allocation of roads, but even the fact that KERA projects in most counties, the governor has no visibility. It is a member of National Assembly who has visibility on KERA projects. This is wrong. These things are going on in counties, and we don't seem to find an opportunity for us to converge as governors and as senators to call it what it is. Members of National Assembly have no business constructing roads or identifying contractors under KERA. KERA money, KERA should be a county corporation. And that was the proposal in the original roads bill, which did not see light of day. So I think now that the substantive audit issues have been addressed, we can just talk about the broader issues around conditional grants and their oversight. I know RMLF was discontinued. It was now put as equitable share, which I think was a mistake. The other mistake we made, going back to an issue that we have dealt with, was to take away the fiscal responsibility measure when doing allocation, when doing the formula, so that counties that were fiscally responsible, counties that could demonstrate an increase in on-source revenue, could get more. But then we went for uneven, because of politics, we decided to be even. So there's no motivation to be fiscally responsible. You only need to give birth, have more people, and get more money. So those are decisions we made in the past that we must find a convergence between the COG and the Senate to push through. I think I just want to make those broad comments on this and then ask Senator Sifuna, then Senator Cherargei.
Chair, in fact, I share in your frustration, Governor. It's unfortunate for you. You are also the chair of the Council of Governors. We feel sometimes that we in the Senate are crying more than the bereaved, that we do not feel the strength, if I might use that word, of the Council of Governors in bringing these issues to the fore. I don't want to make political accusations, but I think that in your capacity as the chair of the Council of Governors, there's more that needs to be said. I'm very happy with a few of the things you've said in the past few days. In the past year, you have also admonished the Senate on the manner in which we voted, but I'm sure you know it's not the whole Senate. You know where the problem is, address that problem. I like what the Council of Governors has said about the question of, what was it? This question of disaster fund. Say these things. I mean, I don't think that, especially for a governor in her second term, what do you have to lose, Your Excellency? Say these things so that we don't feel like we are the only ones who say these things and we are crying more than the bereaved. County resources are delayed, but it only takes a certain incident for you people to say, yes, we have not received money. At the same time, we are being told this is the first time since devolution began that counties are receiving monies in accordance with the disbursement schedule. We don't hear you saying, no, that's not the truth. And if it is just Sifuna saying, you know me, I'm dismissed offhand, immediately, they just say, yeah, that one we know. that one is supposed to say those things. So we need a proper partnership, as the chair is saying, because we need for devolution to succeed. All of these issues, we need to have the same voice on them. If something is wrong, it doesn't really matter who's at fault. We need to say the same things together. So I want to encourage you to be a bit bolder. I wish you would make me the chair of the Council of Governors for just one day. Say a few things that I need to say from that end.
Well, for your information, Senator Sifuna, on the day we were dividing revenue, that morning Governor Waiguru appeared before this committee. And I remember asking her, what number we should go for. And her number was very sympathetic to the national executive. Yeah. And then 2 days later, she bashed us. She bashed the Senate for not supporting counties when she was not firm enough to tell us the number that we were supposed to take. And she was explaining how the government was broke. So anyway, we shall discuss that at a later event. Senator Cherargei.
Maybe, Governor, I agree. I think as the CS, you can see, Governor, the shoe is on other leg, because when you are the CS, then you should have at least we have always insisted that in his own record and answered that KERA, KURA are unconstitutional bodies. We should have transferred those roads to county governments. And it is on record. I've said on several occasions since when I was elected as the senator in the previous years. And therefore, I still have a feeling that KERA and KURA is unconstitutional. You need, as Senator Sifuna has said, to some issues, Senator Sifuna is saying the good ones I agree with. The others will just be good for national headlines. What I'm just saying is simple. We have not had Council of Governors coming out strong and telling the national government the issue of roads, especially KERA and KURA. I don't see the reason you are doing in Kagio roads, and then KURA comes and does it. You do another road, KERA comes and does it, and then they now use a lot of money putting a signpost. It is not even logical. So, Governor, and finally, I don't know whether the matter is in court, the Road Maintenance Levy Fund. And I'm happy at least you went to court because they had moved that fund from county governments with no apparent reason. So, Governor, as you go to IBEC, as you engage the President and the Deputy President, especially on the issue of IBEC, you must insist that Road Maintenance Levy Fund must come back to counties, because that is the resource. And even as a Senate, you know, there was a guy who was disposed of the seat. I don't know which country was that, and he was saying, make some noise. So I want to encourage Sifuna, make some noise. Yeah, it is good. Somebody else might hear it. Make some noise. So I want also to encourage Council of Governors through you, make some noise, and finally, Chair, can you as Council of Governors bring an amendment? We tried with the roads bill in the last session. It didn't see the day of light. Can you give us a legislative proposal so that we push for KERA and KURA and RLMF to be money that, this is the money that should belong to counties essentially. And I think, Governor, if you do that, it will be a good legacy as you exit as the second and final term in Kirinyaga County, so that you can look back and say, well, I was the chair of COG, these are legislative intervention. We want when we are questioning about KERA roads, KURA, RLMF, we question governors directly instead of members of National Assembly, because it is not anywhere in the Constitution. What MNS are doing is illegal and unconstitutional, and it is good we have the People's Watchman, Senator Okoiti, Okia Omtata, Andrew. I know you might have received a setback today by the court ruling that there is no need of concurrence between Kingi and Wetangula, but we are doing a good job. Can you lead us on this? We are solidly behind you. And we shall give you all the blessings.
Point of order, Chair. I don't think the people who create problems should be lecturing us on what we should be doing to solve those problems. It's very unfortunate, Senator Cherargei, because at the very minimum, please, as elected representatives of the people, take some responsibility. It cannot be just looking for the people's watchman to sort out problems you created yourselves. What if you didn't create those problems? We wouldn't need Senator Omtata.
But Chair, out of tremendous respect, point of order, you know, you cannot discuss your colleague, Chair. It is very unfair. What I'm just saying is simple. Senator Sifuna, during lunch or before the session, I will get an answer where I've insisted that KERA and KURA are unconstitutional at the floor of the House. And I'm just saying, let us work this journey together so that we can finish the race together.
Yeah, and Senator Sifuna, perhaps you should make Senator Cherargei, if there was a way, to make him chair of COG for a day, with Murkomen as the Minister for Roads. This problem will be sorted out.
Within 5 minutes, I would have sorted out.
Governor, tell us what the COG is doing on this matter, because it is a problem.
As you know, Chair, we have tried to engage. We have done several correspondence. We have reached out to the Office of the Deputy President during IBEC, and he had committed as an IBEC resolution to call a meeting between the National Assembly and the Council. But that did not happen, and we went to court, and there was a stay order. So we are now at that place where we are in court.
Yeah, but let's have some of these issues coming up whenever we have our meetings. I think COG, we need to, and we have spoken with some of your colleagues, that we need to have regular meetings, not just at a devolution conference level, but having the chairs of Senate committees meeting with chairs of committees at the COG. We know that there's a roads committee chaired by a former senator, and some of these things, we can cover a lot of ground when we purpose to work together. The next audit issue was lack of value for money in procurement of MARAM. So this is a value for money question. The Auditor General is saying you bought equipment, but you're still paying for transport services. So this one, because it's still outstanding, read your finding, and then we get the response of the county. Auditor General.
Thank you. As disclosed in Note 17 to the financial statements, the statement of receipts and payments reflects Kenya shillings 825,029,030 shillings in respect of acquisition of assets. This balance includes Kenya shillings 121,373,475 relating to construction of roads, out of which 63,637,200 was incurred on supply and delivery of MARAM. However, it was observed that in 2017-2018 financial year, the county government had procured road equipment and machinery worth 436,192,825 to be used for roads excavation, delivery of MARAM, grading and graveling of various county roads. No explanation was provided as to why the county outsourced the service, whereas it had the necessary equipment. In the circumstance, had the county equipment been used, a savings of 63 million would have been realized and used in other programs to benefit the people of Kirinyaga County. Thank you.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. The county undertook annual routine maintenance of in-house roads measuring approximately 300 kilometers of gravel and approximately 700 kilometers of grading in its annual in-house roads maintenance program. In 2017-18 financial year, the county procured earth-moving machinery, motor vehicles, including but not limited to 3 excavators, 2 drum loaders, 1 wheel loader, 1 bulldozer, 10 trucks, amongst other plant machinery and motor vehicles. It is worth noting, while the county had made significant investment in procurement of earth-moving machinery, the total annual road requirements surpassed the capacity of the county road equipment and machinery to timely and effectively meet the road works needs, hence necessitating the outsourcing of the service as full roadworks contract that are duly tendered for through open tendering method. I submit, Chair. And I should also just like to mention here, Chair, this is one of the areas you may ask for the input of the County Assembly, because we co-chair a roads maintenance committee that manages the equipment that rotates around the sub-counties, but it's not sufficient to cover all the work that we do, and therefore that is why there is additional purchase of MARAM. Also, the MARAM, even if you have equipment, you'd have to still dig the MARAM. You buy the MARAM from the service providers or the people with the land with the MARAM, because the county doesn't have any. And then also contract out work, certain work to be done where we are not able to cover the entire county annually from our service providers.
Auditor General, was a 63.6 million the 63.6 million that you have cited, was a MARAM delivered?
Yes, Chair, the MARAM was delivered.
Okay, Senator Sifuna?
Governor, you are saying that this 63 million that you paid was additional to what the county equipment had already been used to deliver. That's what you are saying? After you've used the equipment you bought and they're insufficient, you now added these private services.
To use the equipment, you need maram.
Yes, I understand that. I'm saying you have equipment, you have 10 trucks, right? You need to use them to deliver maram. You've said they are not sufficient. So you use the 10 and the extra capacity is outsourced. Is that what you're saying?
I'm responding to two questions here.
Yes.
One of the questions is that he says we shouldn't contract out roadworks because we have equipment.
Yes.
So for that, I say the equipment that we have is not sufficient to cover the roadworks needs in the county.
I'm with you.
Two,
I'm with you, but I'm saying in this particular instance, this 63 million is extra after what you have done.
yes.
Now, Auditor General, I don't know what sort of exercise you conducted there, because Chair, we had an interesting conversation with Nairobi City County about sewerage disposal trucks. How sure are you that the same maram was not delivered by these same trucks that are owned by the county? What sort of physical verification were you doing to know that that maram was actually delivered by the independent contractor using their own equipment?
Thank you, Chair. The projects were done simultaneously.
At the same time?
At the same time.
Uh-huh.
And the reason we came up with the issue is because we considered that the exercise should have been handled by the county government on its own, exclusively.
You have not understood my question, and in fact, you have increased my suspicion. If these things were being done at the same time, we have seen things in these counties, Auditor General. What evidence do you have? Or did you assure yourself that, in fact, the county trucks were not the ones delivering this maram, and it was being counted as an independent contractor?
Thank you, Chair.
Is there any way to know that?
Yes, thank you, Chair. What we actually did, we took a list of all the projects they had done in that financial year. Mm-hmm. We went for physical verifications in terms of completions on the projects they had indicated that they had undertook, which we were able to do it physically, and that's why we were not able to raise any issue of a project that was not completed for maraming during that particular period. However, what we felt was not in order is now that outsourcing, because we thought that because they were raising the issue of the rains during which they could not have done it, they tried to outsource because the timelines were so narrow, because they could have been affected by the rains. We thought that they could have postponed that assignment to a later date. However, in the year rejoinder, during the audit exercise, they indicated that they had the excavators and the loaders, which were not actually, and which actually had a lot of time waiting for the year 10 trucks that they had. So in that area, we realized that if at all you had one loader in a quarry, and they have 10 trucks, and they were doing more than 10 loads within the, across the county, that loader would have been idle. So that is the explanation actually they gave us. But we still believed that they could actually have suspended that program to a later date so that actually they can be able to save that money. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair, just let me tie this up. I understand your explanation, but I'm telling you, you as Auditor General, if the county is doing delivery of maram to KICC, and there's also somebody else contracted to do delivery of maram to KICC, you should see documentation that this pile here was brought by the county government trucks, and this one was by the independent contractor. Because I have experienced this myself here in Nairobi, where you are told the lorries have been contracted, the mchanga ile na mwago pale na county inahesabiwa pia kama ya huyo independent contractor, and they are paid. These things happen. So you need to, especially when things are happening simultaneously, you must physically be there to say, yes, this is the truck number, this brought by the contractor, this actually delivered maram. And you're not counting the maram that was delivered by the county trucks.
Chair, maybe if I could just step in. I need to clarify something. Our own inroads program runs throughout the year. It's non-stop. So this is specific to certain roads. And there is no time where we give the same road to the in-house program and the external contractor. And that's why I said it would be useful to ask the county assembly, because the in-road program is coordinated between the county assembly and the executive. I have a co-chair from the county assembly. The equipment rotates in the various wards in turns, so that is separate. And then now there is the roads that we need to do as an intervention to maximize on the coverage of the roads, and that is what we contract out.
The Chairman, Public Accounts Committee, is there a member of your delegation who is involved in that project the governor has described?
I think all elected members are involved.
Is there a chair? Have you set up a committee?
Yeah, we have chair committee transport and roads.
Is the chair here?
Not here.
Is there any member who has visibility on that?
I have one member.
Okay, just explain to us how this works, because this really is an issue that should be dealt with at the primary oversight level. But if the primary overseers are the players, then you have a problem.
Thank you, Chair. To confirm what Her Excellency is saying, we have what we call an in-house program, where we have the trucks revolving. We can call it revolving around the wards. So, for example, if the trucks are in my ward, and then we have another road that needs to be done in another ward, they can't be there. Number one, because of course I need them to be in my place. So the outsourcing that we're talking about is done as a complementary system to ensure that the outsourcing that we're talking about is done to supplement, or rather to complement, the in-house program. We also need to factor in the issue of mechanical breakdowns, and these are things we can't prevent. Sometimes we have 10 trucks and they are bound to tear and wear, or rather wear and tear. And sometimes, as much as we have a budget for maintenance, we will have them breaking down, and in a bid to make sure that we ensure with the program we run in our county called Nyorosha Barabara, because we are accountable to the people, and Kirinyaga, considering the geographical location, the kind of soil we have, not much of it that is sandy or marm, it's the red soil. So it is well called for to outsource. That's my take.
What decisions do the MCAs make in these arrangements?
Number one is to come up with the in-house program, because we are the representatives of the people. And also in the budget making process, I think as legislators, it is our duty to ensure that we utilize the budget to the benefit of our people. And that is why we unanimously agree that it is imperative we have...
Mheshimiwa, just let's go step by step. You've got an in-house program.
Yes.
For roads.
Yeah.
How does it fit within the budget and the annual development plan?
It was, initially it was, we can call it a local agreement for the members of the county assembly and the executive to have the county equipment. And how it fits is that as representatives, we, together with the county executive, decided that we need to have the equipment to be doing roads within the county. But then again...
So your ward is, what's the name of your ward?
My ward is Kabare ward. Kabare.
Kabare ward.
Yeah, that is where Mother Karua comes from.
Oh yeah, a very, very strong leader.
But you didn't even vote for her, so it's very unfortunate.
No, his would have been the one vote. How do you know? Mheshimiwa for Kabare ward. So, when the equipment is in Kabare ward,
yes,
they cannot be taken to the next ward. until they complete the roads in Kabare Ward, isn't it?
Not complete all the roads, but the designated roads.
Designated roads.
Yes.
At that point, what are you doing as a MCA?
I'm on the ground, ensuring that the trucks ferry the maram, or rather the quarry waste from the quarry to the road that needs to be done.
Are you executing or overseeing?
That is overseeing.
That is overseeing.
Chair,
Yes,
Chair,
because I'm there to make sure. I think that is the definition of oversight. Although there seem to be an overlap in terms of definition.
It's not a definition problem,
It's a
Mheshimiwa,
serious philosophical problem.
what you are transforming yourself from an MCA to the site manager for that project. I wanted to know.
Or not to supervise.
I wanted to know when decisions are made. For instance, this one on procurement of additional capacity. Do you, as MCAs, have a say in who is given those contracts?
No, we
This one
don't.
that was paid 63 million.
No, we don't.
That is now back to the governors.
Yeah, that's not within our scope of mandate.
You see, the principle that, when there was an impasse on budget between the executive and the assembly, this matter came up. That you cannot intervene before the process is complete. That is why the courts cannot stop Parliament from concluding a law. It will wait until the tail end for the courts to render a decision. An overseer cannot be in the kitchen making ugali, saying ongeza unga hapa, ongeza maji pale, ongeza moto pale, and you say you are oversighting. You are executing in that case. You are cooking. Your job is to wait for the ugali ive, and then you take a decision on that ugali. Not saying,
Mr. Chair, can
order. And you will learn something. We said today is a learning experience. You cannot call yourself an overseer and you are involved in the operations and the nitty-gritties, and that is what the Mheshimiwa said. He is there on site when the machinery is in his ward. He's making sure that the maram has been delivered.
Mr.
He's
Chair,
making sure the trucks
you
are
are
moving.
putting words in my mouth. Mr. Chair, we have a whole department on transport and public works, starting from a CCM through to a chief officer, a director, and we have inspectors. And why I'm saying my presence is important on the ground, remember, I'm the representative of the people, and I'm a politician, and I promise them to deliver. So there's no way things get done, and I just appear from nowhere.
Honorable
Thank
Member
you,
for
sir.
Kabare, because I don't want to put you on oath. It is executive that we had called. But you guys are doing illegal things. You guys are doing things that are against the principle of devolution and separation of power. Correct. If you want to execute, seek a job on the executive side. You've just heard us lament about Kera and members of National Assembly.
Yes.
When you put it to them that they are involved in execution of road works, they will tell those stories you're saying. And yet we know the Kera roads in constituencies, no contractor gets a job unless they are known to the member of parliament. And in many cases, it is their companies that do the jobs, we know. They just hide in English, behind English. Please, honorable members of County Assembly. Unless this was the deal you agreed on, that's why you are no longer impeaching your governor. But if that was a deal, it was an illegal one. Please, let us define our roles. Your role is to represent, to legislate, to oversight. Even the Ward Development Fund that we are talking about, we will never allow MCS to be the executioners of that Ward Development Fund. You can only be there at an oversight level. But in our view, we are so clear that you already have ward administrators. So if you have a ward development fund, then the ward administrator, using the devolved structures, would be the person to execute, and yours will be to oversight. I think there's a serious problem. And the interesting thing about Kirinyaga is that when you decide to oversight robustly, you impeach your governor. When you decide to work together, you go to bed. and you start doing execution rather than oversight.
Mr. Chair, you are biased. Thank you.
Order,
Chair.
member.
Chair.
Honorable member, just a minute. Clerk Hansard, just expunge that from the records of the Senate. And I want to advise you that you're at the Senate. Any comment you make is at the pleasure and leave of the chair. So you must avoid such snide remarks. Otherwise, there is no obligation for you to speak. So please, member, can you withdraw that allegation and apologize?
Ideally, withdraw, Mr. Chair.
And apologize?
Apologized.
Thanks. We proceed, Governor, then we come back to Senator Sifuna.
Chair, if I may clarify, in the Roads Committee, what happens is that they come up with a schedule of the rotation because of fairness, so that they don't say that I'm favoring some wards as opposed to others. That's all they do. The county government executive is responsible for the actual work done on the roads. I needed to clarify, maybe he's not as eloquent in the explanation, but it is actually carried out by the county executive. What I wanted you to know is that there is no way that there can be that overlap of whatever Senator Sifuna was saying about going to the same place. So the roads program, even today, there's a timetable that says the machinery should be in this particular ward. They stay there about 1 week to 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on how the committee decides. But that's the role of the committee. That's where it ends. The oversight in terms of the road being built, that is by the office staff. Now, the rest of the work is also contracted, because if you can consider 20 wards, and you're there 2 weeks, those machines will come back to your ward after 80 weeks. 80 weeks is like 5 months. So you can't wait for 5 months, because even in that 2 weeks, you probably just did a few kilometers. So that is why you have to supplement and do extra work.
Senator Sifuna, then Senator Cherarkei.
I think you know what, just like we told the governor that she should be aware that she's appearing before politicians, even the members of the county assembly should know that. I think this entire panel here, all of us are also representatives of the people, and we go through the same pressures that you go through to demonstrate physically that I am the one who has brought this road. But I think for us as a Senate, it is important for us to point out the demarcation between your roles as members of the county assembly and the executive, because there's also a downside to that. When you go there and you are the site manager and you are directing the drive of the grader, pitia hapa, iwe culvert weka hapo, when the El Nino comes and carries that road away, it will still be you. It should be sufficient that you have representation in that committee, and you can go to the people and say, yes, we sat as your representatives. I ensured that our roads are going to be graded. I got this machinery to be in our ward on this particular day. Governor, we expect your team to do a good job. But you can't be there yourself physically doing those things. So those pressures, we also get them. Yeah, we also get them because these Senate colleagues will tell you that people are asking, what has Sifuna ever built, even a toilet? That's not my job. And it is our responsibility to explain to the voting public that we have separate roles. So if you shy away from that responsibility of explaining to Martha Karua that it is not your job to build the road to her house, then I think you're failing devolution generally, honorable member. Don't be shy. I think once your residents understand the demarcation of the roads, of the roles, then you are safe.
Senator Cherarkei, finally.
I think mine is just to emphasize on the issue of our distinct roles, and I think I'm one of the greatest MCA's champion. But I think what we need to agree is that there is always the sub-county road supervisor, there is the site manager, all those aspects. I think in as much as under the County Governments Act, annual development plans are generated by counties. The budget is done by counties, and I know MCS also do, is it public participation under the finance bill. I know executive does, the MCS does. So I think what we need to agree is that the county's development plans, ADP, even the CIDP, and most of these projects are well captured. I think what we can say as a committee on this issue where governor is, my clarity is where does you say you partner with MCS, what do you mean by this partnership? Does it mean before you allocate, before you assign lorries, when you are going to buy Maram, what do you mean by partnership between you and the MCS in this program? Because I thought the MCS will always be naturally there to oversight by the fact that you build my road in Kabari ward, that road, maybe if you have given Kabari ward, for example, of maraming and grading of maybe 20 kilometers or 10 kilometers, I thought that ends there. What do you mean by partnership with the MCS, so that we don't get the wrong impression that before you say this is what we are going to do, the MCS must approve? What is the partnership? What did you mean? With Nyorosha Mabarabara or something I had like that.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. I think I just explained that. I will repeat for the benefit of the Senator. I said they sit in a committee to agree on the schedule of where the machines go ward by ward. That is the role of the county elected, and that's it.
Okay.
And I already explained it.
Okay.
I think
Thank you,
some of the jurisprudence we built in this country, we represent the people because the politicians here have been elected directly. Even the governor represents the people because you've been elected directly. Members of county assembly, you represent the people in the wards. But that does not mean that because you're the people's representative, then public participation becomes optional. That was demonstrated in the BBI matter. I think there are certain county assemblies that went ahead and passed the bill without taking it to the people, arguing that they represent the people. So let's move away from this assertion that we are the people's representatives, so we are the ones who know best what the people want. There is a constitutional requirement to subject all our decisions to public participation. And I'm sponsoring the public participation bill that is before the Senate. And I think let that be a takeaway, honorable members, because I've heard you say very eloquently that we are the people's representatives. Yes, you are the people's representatives. You are not their rulers. So you must subject activities and even those rotations you're saying. Someone will go to court one day saying that the public is not consulted. It is only the MCAs who are deciding what should happen. I hope that someone will not be Okoiti Omtata, because you can clearly predict what the outcome of that case would be. So let's just play our roles. If you want to be the executive, let's seek votes to be in the executive. If you want to be in the legislature, let's seek votes to be in the legislature. The next matter is on compliance with staff ethnic diversity. We shall take your responses on record. There is a requirement, a reporting requirement under the County Governments Act and the NCIC Act, and I believe those reports will be coming to Parliament. On the annual recruitment plan, Auditor General, has that now been provided?
It has been provided, Chair.
Fine. On inflated pricing of medical supplies, inflated pricing of medical supplies. You still had